happy as sprung. No, I'm kidding. Happy spring. Today I'm going to be making 3 Easter side dishes that would be great on your Easter table. Welcome to Irene is in the details.
Spring is sprung.
Spring is sprung. The first dish I'm going to be making is a classic, scalloped potatoes. First thing I'm going to do is start a pot of water with sea salt in it. Let it come to a boil. And then also I have a 9x13 pan, and I'm going to just grease it with some butter. Heat up the oven to 350. Peel 3 pounds of russet potatoes. And then slice them maybe like a 1/4 inch thickness. So this dish can be made the day ahead except for the last part of baking it. So you could prep ahead for Easter and then just pop it in the oven the day of. I have tried so many scalloped potato recipes. So far, this has been my favorite recipe. Okay, so now I'm going to put the sliced potatoes in boiling water. And now we're going to let it come back to a boil and boil it for 6 minutes. So while the potatoes are boiling, we're going to start making this cheese sauce. So in a medium-sized pan, I'm going to put 6 tablespoons of butter. Let that start to melt. And then I'm going to crush in 6 cloves of garlic. Have the heat low enough that the garlic won't burn or brown. You just want it to soften up. So these scalloped potatoes are definitely garlicky, so if you don't like garlic, you will not like these. But I think it adds a depth of flavor that's really delicious. Now I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. We're going to let this cook until it gets a little brown. So now it's got lightly brown, and I'm going to add 1 cup of milk while whisking and 2 cups of heavy cream, which is also a pint. I'm gonna just let this heat up a minute or 2, and then I have 8 ounces of grated Gruyere cheese. You could use any cheese you want. I really love Gruyere for this. There's plenty of times I've mixed a bunch of cheeses, but always grate your own cheese. Don't use pre-grated cheese. It won't melt properly. Then I'm just gonna slowly add it until it melts. Growing up, my grandma always used cheddar cheese. It would have never happened with any other cheese but cheddar. But I have fancier tastes now. And then I'm gonna add 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper and 1/4 teaspoon of salt, because you already have a lot of salt with the cheese. And then I'm just gonna mix this together until the cheese is melted, basically. I'm also gonna add a little bit of nutmeg, freshly grated nutmeg. It really works well with Gruyere. And while we're waiting for the cheese to melt, I'm gonna arrange the potatoes in the baking dish. You can do it however you want. You can just dump it in here if you want. It doesn't have to be fancy. Now I'm going to pour this liquid just all over the potatoes. And we're going to put it in the oven for 30 minutes. So now I'm just going to chop some chives. It's going to be for the top of the scalloped potatoes. This is optional, just adds a little freshness and color. Potatoes are looking so good. Top is browning. It looks like there's cheese on top, but it's not. It's just the sauce. This sauce would also be great with pasta, like if you did a baked pasta. That with some chicken in it. I put it in the oven a little longer. I kind of felt like it needed to thicken up a little more, so I put it in for another 15 minutes. So that's why it's darker. Let it cool a little bit, so it's not like burning hot. Very cheesy and yummy. You want some of that?
Good.
I want to try it. Next, I'll be making an egg and bacon casserole. On a lightly floured surface, take out my puff pastry that's been thawed, following the package direction. And then I'm just going to roll it out a little bit, so it's about 10 inches square, because we're going to put it in this 8-inch square pan, and we want it to be on the sides as well. So I normally double this recipe and then just put it in a 9 by 13 pan, and then I just cut off any excess pastry. So you could do that if you're going to feed more people, but this is just going to be for my family. So this is like more of a rustic, it's like a quiche but with puff pastry. And then just push it up, press it on the sides so it stays. And then I'm going to poke the bottom with a fork. I'm going to set the oven to 400 degrees. I'm just going to pop this back in the fridge while we're making the filling. So the first thing I'm going to do is I have 8 ounces of thick cut bacon, and I'm just going to roughly chop this. Now I'm going to add the bacon to a skillet and let it cook, stirring occasionally for about 5 minutes, just till it starts getting brown, lightly brown. I'm going to cut it through off, and then I'm going to just cut it in half and then slice it. I know. I wish we had smell-o-vision. I'm going to add the sliced onion. We're going to cook this until the onions soften and starts to caramelize. I used to make this all the time for Bree in middle school, and she had a friend that anytime she spent the night, she would ask if I would make this for her. Bree's my daughter, by the way. And she's the camera woman and editor. And everything special.
Best friend in the whole world.
Okay, so while this is cooking, I'm gonna make the filling. We're gonna add 2 large eggs. We have fresh eggs because we have chickens, but they're only medium, so they don't work for recipes. My Brie. You are my Brie. Bree's also the chicken farmer.
That's right.
And then we're gonna add half a cup of cream to this and salt and pepper to taste. Salt and pepper here. And then I'm just gonna whisk this. Now that the bacon and the onions are all cooked, browned, I'm gonna put it on a plate lined with a paper towel to remove some of the bacon fat and let it cool a little bit before we put it in the puff pastry. So now that this is cooled a little bit, I'm just gonna add the bacon and onions to the bottom of the puff pastry. So this dish you can't really make ahead except for certain parts. So you could do the bacon and the onions ahead, saute it, and then put it in a dish. You could grate the cheese, you can make the egg mixture, and then just assemble it the day of. And then now I'm putting in 1.5 cups of Gruyere cheese. And you want to do all of this before you put the eggs because we poked holes in the puff pastry, and this will make it so it doesn't like flow everywhere. And then we're gonna add the egg mixture. And then this goes in the oven for about 40 minutes, 45 minutes. So I'm actually going to take this out a little bit early because it looks ready. And then just let it sit and cool a little bit before you cut it up. It will deflate. The last dish I'm going to be making is a spinach and strawberry salad. So in this bowl I have 6 ounces of baby spinach, and then this is 1 romaine heart that I'm gonna just cut up. I rinsed it and cleaned it already. So this is different than the actual recipe amounts. With salad, it's more about the dressing than the actual ingredients inside the salad that the measurements matter. So I'm making it a little bit smaller because it's just my family that's gonna eat it. So we'll probably eat it for a couple days. So I'm not gonna dress everything. And the dressing actually makes a lot. Like I don't use all the dressing for the salad. I just put on what I think's a good amount. That in there. And then I rinse the strawberries, and we're just gonna cut the tops off and then slice them. I try to get fruit and lettuce, any veggies from the farmer's market, and the strawberries will be much, much better. This is a great spring salad, and sometimes I also do it for 4th of July, and I just add blueberries to it and feta cheese. And then I'm going to add 1/4 cup of slivered almonds and just put this aside while I make the dressing. So now to make the dressing, I have a mason jar, and I'm putting in 2 tablespoons of sesame seeds and 1 tablespoon of poppy seeds, 1/2 cup of sugar, and a tablespoon of minced onion, and 1/4 cup of vinegar, 1/2 cup of extra virgin olive oil, and then just 1/4 teaspoon of paprika, and then 1/4 teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. And then you can add a little salt and pepper to taste. And close this up. Let's shake it up. You want this dressing to be sitting in the fridge for an hour before you dress the salad, or overnight would be best. So you could definitely make this the night before. I always lightly dress my salads, and then if people want more, I just put the dressing out, and they can always add more if they want. So this is salad. Thanks for watching Irene is in the Details. I hope you have a great Easter. Please like and subscribe.